TV, starting place to the likes of WWE female superstars Cathy, Kelley, Sonya, Deville, and Alyna Vega proudly presents Women's Wrestling Weekly, the world's first podcast and YouTube series dedicated exclusively to women's wrestling, featuring all the latest news as well as interviews with top superstars in the industry. And now, AfterBuzz TV's own gorgeous lady of wrestling, TK Trinidad.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Weekly, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and she's back for another one, folks. She hails from the valley. She is the farmer's daughter, or a farmer's daughter, or somebody's daughter. She came from somewhere. Please welcome Emily Mae.
Hey everyone, happy to be here, talk women's wrestling.
I know, shout out to Starbucks, because I swear.
Our sponsor.
No, man, well, I mean, if you do want to sponsor us, hit us up for sure.
Yes.
We have Start of the Week coming, but we have amazing guests like we do every week, and this week is no exception. She hails from the Down Under. I'm sure everybody from Down Under hates when we say Down Under. It's like one of those cliches. I hate when they say stuff about like that for Canadians, but you know. She hails from the Down Under. She was trained by the great, the legend, Lance Storm. Please welcome Alyna. Hello.
Hi. Thank you so much.
We have a crowd. We have an audience there too. You just can't see them. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward.
You've traveled quite a bit,
yes.
And you look fairly young. So tell us about your wrestling journey, how you got into wrestling, and then, you know, how you got to all these places and also training with Lance Storm.
Okay, so I guess when you have other guests on your show and they tell you about their story about how they got into wrestling, it's always, oh, you know, it's my lifelong dream when I was a kid. And, you know, mine isn't as sort of structured as that, I guess you could say. Like, I did watch wrestling. I was a big fan when I was a child. I did want to do it, but then when I got older, I kind of just forgot about it a little bit. And then just one day it was just on TV and I just thought to myself, oh, remember when I wanted to do that when I was a kid? Mm-hmm. So then I just went to my local wrestling school, fell in love with it. And then 6 months later, I bought myself a plane ticket to Calgary in Canada. And then that's where my proper training started from there.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's an amazing story because so many people talk about, like, you know, for 5 years, I want to do this and they never do it.
And they never do it. And the fact that you were like picked up your stuff and was like, I'm gonna go do it is fantastic.
And Calgary is really, really cold, so that's even more kudos to that. So tell us about your first bump.
First bump was very painful, but I loved it and I kept going.
So when you like walked into your training center for the first time, what was it like? Who was there? You know, what were your emotions?
Yeah, so where I first started training, it was actually at the back of a supplement store. It was like a little tiny sort of extra storage room, space very small. And then so I started learning bumps on the mats actually. So just getting used to it, like being at a sort of a lower level, learning that. And then eventually I worked up into getting into the ring and doing it a lot better. And same thing when I was in Canada as well, just, you know, starting low and then building up from there.
So now, quite a few people have trained with Lance Storm. He's, you know, a well-known name in the industry. Mm-hmm. What are some tips or points that you've taken from training there that you've applied to your wrestling career?
So a lot of it is just, it is a lifestyle. Like the training program over there was, I think it was like 9 to 1 every day. And it's not like a, you know, 2-3 days a week kind of thing. It's like the profession is every day you have to do something, and that's one thing I have really taken across with me now that I am a regular on shows now. Like the work just doesn't stop at, you know, just 3 months of training. You just keep going, you keep pushing yourself to go to better places.
And then you are now in the U.S.
Yes.
So what's that experience been like as far as the difference between, you know, training in Australia, training in Canada, and then training in the U.S.?
Yeah, so this is actually my second trip here. So I was here around this time last year as well. Mm-hmm. So I really do love it, especially here in LA. I love that there's so many people to work. There are a lot more places to work for as well. Mm-hmm.
What's been, so you have like a huge list of promotions you've worked for. What has been like your favorite match so far that you've been a part of?
So this trip, definitely, so just this past weekend, I wrestled Heather Monroe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. That should be airing in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that one.
Or Heather Roll is a friend of the show. She's awesome.
Yeah, and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood is like a Southern California staple. So that's amazing.
Anybody else that you want to wrestle as far as in the California area that you haven't gone to wrestle yet?
Well, I did get to meet Sandra Moon at the taping the other day too. She seemed like a really cool person. So I'd definitely like to, if I get the chance to do a match with her as well.
And then as far as character, how did you take to developing your character for the ring?
It's pretty simple, I guess. Like, I'm a lifelong cat lady. That's just how I've always been. I love it.
Okay. Let's. You just kind of
take a step back.
Yeah, you just kind of like, so what does that mean? You have 7 cats, or do you mean that you're a fan of cats? You rescue cats? That's a very
because I'm a cat person. I have 2 cats at home. So
yeah, but 2 and 7 are 2 different things.
True.
So
I wish I could have 7, most definitely, but I only have the 1. I've just always just been, I guess you could say, I've always related to them. It's just kind of like the whole oh yeah, you want attention now, but it's like, no, go away from me now. I've always related to that, so that's just how
I guess I'm a cat lady.
It's kind of like a love-hate relationship with your
cat. Most definitely.
Okay, yeah, because that could have went real dark. I was like, what do you mean, my cat lady? Let's dive into that.
We could have gone a whole rabbit hole down there.
So, do you use your lifestyle or your love as being a cat lady in the ring as well?
Yeah, most definitely. It's just a lot of pouncing, using my paws a lot, as I would say as well.
All right. Well, I
awesome.
guess...
What's your favorite move that you like to do?
So I do, it's traditionally called a fisherman's suplex. So it's people would normally call it the perfect plex, but I call it the perfect plex as well, but spelt with P-U-R, as in purr, like a cat.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
I had a feeling that's where it was going.
Yeah.
And then what's the goal for the career? Where do you hope to see yourself in the next 5 years?
I'd love to be able just to do this full time. Once I'm done with my trip here, I basically go back home to a 9-to-5, save up, and try come back again. So ideally, I'd like to just travel full time and just wrestle full time.
So what's your 9-to-5?
So I work in a gym, actually.
Okay. Nice. I thought you were going to say you work with cats. I was like, then that all makes sense too.
She runs a rescue.
I know, right? I mean, you could do that in the States.
You
Why
could
not?
do it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Actually, there's so where I'm staying here, down the street, there's a place called the Cat Lounge, and they've got they rescue cats, and you can go in there and do cat yoga and that kind of stuff.
Are you in West Hollywood?
No, I'm in Brea.
Oh, they have one in Brea
cat
too.
Cafe. Cat cafe.
Oh.
Nice. Yeah, they have one in West Hollywood too. I like the concept, but it's still kind of because cats shed a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, you're having tea, and now you have all these cats just doing their thing, shedding fur all over the place. It's
all
just,
over you,
know, yeah.
You have to embrace it. It's part of the experience.
I don't know if I can embrace that.
Yeah.
So. Anybody else that you want to have a match with that you haven't had a match with? Matches you like, dream matches you'd like to have?
Dream matches. I'd say Taya Valkyrie, definitely on the top of my list for sure. Tessa Blanchard, she'd be a nice one to work with as well. I've been watching the new NWA Power episodes lately, and I'm really enjoying watching Allison Kay.
Nice.
So I guess those 3 would be my definite top 3.
Oh, those are great choices.
Yeah. Is there anywhere you would want to travel and some promotions you want to work for?
So I want to go as many places as I can, of course. So this is my second time to the States. I would love to definitely go out to Europe at some point and do maybe England and Germany. And then obviously the rest of this country as well.
Sounds good. So we are going to go into rapid hot tags real quick.
Yeah.
Women's Wrestling Rapid Hot Tags.
So what's going to happen is I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind. So here we go. Are you always early or always late?
In between.
Oh, I like that. First time for everything. Costume parties or pool parties?
Costume parties.
If you could, are you a late owl or early riser?
Late owl.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
If you could listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
The Parkway Drive Reverence.
Okay. And are you more about flying or driving?
Flying, for sure.
This is an easy one. I think I know the answer. Dog person or cat person?
Oh, hang on. No, cat.
And if you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Pink.
And if you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
Ooh. Good burger and fries.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hopping on the show. Where can everybody find you?
So I'm on Instagram as _Alyna K. You can also find me on Twitter as Alyna Carl as well.
There it is. And so is your trip to the States ending shortly?
So I'll be leaving LA next Monday, but then I'll be in New York for 2 weeks and then Minneapolis for a week.
Oh, nice. And then
Great.
back
Great
again around
cities.
the same time next year.
Yeah.
There you have it. So much fun. Thank you for hopping on the show.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Looking forward to your travels and everywhere else that you're going to and seeing that episode on
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Every time I speak to somebody from Australia, I want to go to Australia. Like, I need to go. That's on my bucket list.
Well, it's an amazing place to be. So
She's like, yeah, you should
yeah,
go.
but
It's
be
an amazing
careful
place
of the
to be.
bugs.
It's not
The
even.
bugs are big as plates.
Okay, and that might have changed my mind. We're going to hit the star of the week real quick.
Star of the week.
Our star of the week is hailing from New Zealand, Dakota Kai, one of my favorites, the newest rising star of NXT UK. Debuting in 2007 in the professional wrestling world, she has over 13 years of experience.
Damn.
And it's incredible. She has like this tenacity, this style, such dynamic moves, a personality that just shines. She debuted on NXT in 2015 against Nia Jax. She competed in the Mae Young Classic. She got to the quarterfinals, which was incredible. She recently re-debuted on NXT and the big USA Network debut after an injury, a torn ACL. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with her in the next 2 years and on the USA Network. She has like a whole incredible list of championships that, she's worked for Impact Pro Wrestling, Shimmer, World Wonder, Ring Stardom. And I'm just excited to see where she's going and, where she'll travel. And it's really only the beginning. And I'm glad to see her back.
Yep.
And I think they're going to do some great things with her.
She has an amazing personality. My only concern is I think when she first debuted in Mae Young, she had that Bailey complex where you see Bailey just break out of it.
Yeah, Bailey totally did just break out of it.
So, I'm hoping that she doesn't get boxed into that baby face aspect, but amazing wrestler, amazing character. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and you never know, things change.
Things always change when it comes to wrestling, for sure. Where can people find you, Emily Mae?
So you all can find me on social media all over the place at Emily Mae Heller. Let's chat and continue the conversation.
There you have it. And also, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, follow AfterBuzz on AfterBuzz TV, Wrestling, and Sports. If you're not following AfterBuzz on social media, make sure you're doing that as well. Without you guys, we wouldn't be the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Also, make sure that you're following Women's Wrestling Weekly on all social media, WPW Weekly. We definitely want to hear your comments, questions, all that good stuff. We appreciate the feedback, and we have somebody on it, getting more content to you guys. And you can follow me everywhere at TK Trinidad. Till next week, guys. Ciao.
From executive producer Kevin Undergaro, producer TK Trinidad, and me, Maria Menounos, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Women's Wrestling Weekly. To help TK, the crew, and women's wrestling in general, we ask that you subscribe, rate, and comment on Women's Wrestling Weekly at Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to our AfterBuzz TV wrestling channel on YouTube for this and other outstanding wrestling content. Buzz you later.